Farmers right across the country have been flagging that their industry is in trouble, not just from higher taxes and higher costs, but also that younger people are having a difficult time becoming farmers. To underscore one of the issues, farmland values shot up 11.5% last year. Here's another factor. The average age of farmers in Canada is 56 years old. Canadian agriculture already faces a serious labor shortage. Joining us this morning from Brandon, Manitoba, on some of the challenges is Kyle Larkin, Executive Director of Grain Growers of Canada. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
This isn't just affecting livestock farmers, it's also affecting grain and wheat farmers as well, and crop farmers. How are, first of all, higher land prices impacting a younger farmer's ability to get their business started? I don't think most people realize just how expensive farming is.
Well, it's really expensive, and it's a great question. I mean, you said it at the top. The average age of farmers nowadays is over 55 years old, so a lot of them are going to be retiring over the next decade. The next generation is going to have to be taking over. So these are sons and daughters, nieces and nephews that are taking over from their fathers or their mothers or whoever else in the family, and they're going to have to take on massive debts. I mean, you said it. Last year alone, 11.5% increase in farmland value across the country. If you look at Ontario alone, for example, if you bought an acre of land, you were paying around $1,600 in 1996. Nowadays, you're paying over $19,000. So it's really a question of the valuation of farmland, the vast increase that we've seen across the country. And a lot of these younger farmers are going to have a tough time taking over their family farm. And things like the capital gains tax increase really don't help those take over at all.
Yeah, we've done some segments on that. Kyle, I'm just wondering if you can attach some numbers to what we're talking about, because people in the industry know, but outside the industry, they don't realize these are multi-million-dollar businesses we're talking about.
Absolutely. So I'll go to Alberta, for example. Let's say you have a farm of 3,000, 5,000 acres. That's typically what you'll see in Alberta. In Ontario, you may see 400 to 800 acres. But both of those farms are going to be valued at around, depending on the size, $7 million to $10 million. So this is what the young farmer has to take over. They have to buy out their father. They have to buy out their mother, whoever owns the farm nowadays, and they're going to have to go into massive debt while taking over that farm. So that's really the challenge we're talking about. And then if you add increased taxation on top of that, so the capital gains tax already costs a lot of these farmers when they do succession planning, they sell the farm to their son or daughter. It's already costing them previously June 25th. $500,000 up to $1 million. Now with the increase, we're seeing a 30% tax increase that's going to cost them even more money. So what we've been saying is it really moves the goalpost for a lot of these young farmers. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we see the decrease in family farms across the country every year. We see a decrease of about 500 to 1,000 family farms, unfortunately, across the country.
Yeah, in my husband's case, for example, his dad was a grain farmer and none of the kids wanted to take over the farm. So they ended up selling it. But then what happens to people who maybe don't have a family legacy but want to get into farming? What are the challenges for them? Is it just cost?
It's mostly cost, and it's mostly know-how. For a lot of these family farms, the sons or daughters or whoever were born on the farm, and this is something that they've lived since they were born. But you're totally right. There are a lot of young farmers nowadays that don't want to stay in the industry. The industry is already so tough. It's already so unreliable. Folks like you or me, we have a steady salary that we can rely on. But for most farmers, they don't know what they're going to get at the end of the year. There could be things like wars. There can be things like droughts. Climate change is having also a big impact on the way that we produce food here in Canada. So it's very unpredictable. You never know the amount of money you're going to get at the end of the year. And the other challenge is the increase in cost of input. So the increase in cost of fertilizer, pesticides, seeds, you name it. Inflation has really had an impact on farms. So it's already such an expensive venture. So that's why you don't really see a lot of new entrants. Rather, you see a decrease in family farms across the country every single year.
Kyle, we're going to have to bring you back to talk about what that looks like on the other end of the conversation, which is what happens to food production, grain production, livestock, if we don't have more people uptaking in the industry and the help that needs for that to happen. Thanks for joining us this morning, Kyle.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.